You got that right. FaceTime with family and loved ones is medicine. I repeat, FaceTime with family and loved ones is medicine. This is the General Chief Grand Master High Priest, God, Dr. Healing Pirate, King of Science, and best friends with the Exalted One.
Say what?
Best friends with the Exalted One.
Say what?
Coming at you with a little gospel of math and science. See, today we got Dr. Dean Ornish elaborating on how FaceTime with family can help to heal and prevent illness within the body. Stuff that was thought to be irreversible is reversible. Stuff that was thought to be inevitable is invincible. So yeah, you know what it is. So also we're gonna have the link, the original video in the link of the description, along with some other doctors talking about how this very same mechanism is good for our mental health as well as our physical health. We're also gonna have some doctors talking about how FaceTime with family fights against stress and strengthens our body. We're also going to have some doctors talking about how some of the biological mechanisms like vagal tone synchronization with micro moments of shared positivity, along with limbic resonance and the general theory of love. Now go ahead and check it out. This is the gospel of math and science.
What we call psychosocial support was really love and intimacy. Or if you reduce it down even further, it's eat well, move more, stress less, love more. That's it, boom, you know. And the more diseases we study and the more mechanisms we look at, the more we find that these same lifestyle changes have impacts, to the degree many people make them. We found to reverse heart disease, diabetes, prostate cancer, change your gene expression, lengthen your telomeres.
Yeah, I want to get the genes in a second.
Easier. And there's studies that show that just when the family sits down together to have a meal together, just the sitting down together, there's better academic performance, lower truancy, lower illness, all the kinds of things that you want. Again, it goes back to the social factors and the power of community and family.
Great. Other questions, please. Your name?
Hi, my name is Megha. My question is about what are the things we can adopt and encourage that can help build a stronger immunity against
Stronger
diseases?
immunity, yeah.
Well, one of the most powerful things you can do is to actually have more love in your life, believe it or not. There was a study that was done by Sheldon Cohen that was in the Journal of the American Medical Association. And I don't know how he got this through the Institutional Review Board, but he got volunteers and he dripped rhinovirus, that causes colds, in their noses. 100% of them got infected, but not everybody that got infected actually got sick. And they found that the more social contacts they had, the more friends visiting them, the more phone calls, the more love that they had 4 times fewer signs and symptoms of a cold, even though they were all infected. So through Koch's postulates, we have this idea that the bacteria or the germ causes the disease, but it's a necessary but not usually always sufficient factor. Even with people who are, Margaret Chesney did a study at UCSF where she found that men and women who were HIV positive, who were lonely and depressed, were more than twice as likely to develop AIDS and die from it than those who weren't. So, diet's important, exercise is important. These all affect our immunity. But probably more than anything, these social factors. And, we tend to think that the time we spend with our friends and family is a luxury that we do after we've done the important stuff. And to me, the value of the science is that it increases awareness. So we understand just how powerful those things are, and that the time we spend with our friends and family is not the stuff we do after we've done the important stuff, that it is the important stuff.
And that's also
part of why when I'm in the middle of the night and wanting to get up and do work, I have to remind myself these things.
Exactly. Great. We have one more question back here.
Hi, my name is Naman. My question is about the prescription, the 4 pillars which you mentioned. Does that change based on the ethnicity or the underlying problem which a person is trying to treat, like obesity or heart disease or cancer or this thing, or is it all?
Not really so much. I mean, we fine-tune a little bit. Some people can metabolize refined carbohydrates or gluten or things like that better than others. But for the vast majority of it, it's really the same. And when I started doing this work, I predicted, incorrectly as it turned out, that the younger people who had less severe disease would do better. And what we found, it wasn't a function of age or disease severity. It was simply a function of the more you change your diet and lifestyle in these areas, the more you improve in every metric we looked at and every disease we studied. Now, there may be ways of fine-tuning this as we learn more, but what I'm still so struck by is that these same lifestyle changes The more diseases we study and the more biological mechanisms we research, the more reasons we have to explain why they're so powerful. And it's so hard for a lot of people to believe. Even like, you mean talking about my feelings can help me live longer? Are you kidding me? You know, is that the best you can do? It's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, it is. I mean, David Spiegel did a landmark study at Stanford years ago where he took women with metastatic breast cancer, randomized them into two groups. Both groups were getting the same chemo and radiation and surgery, but one group had a support group once a week for an hour and a half for a year in the same ways we were talking about, and then they stopped. 5 years later, he's told me he almost fell off his chair when he looked at the data. Those women lived twice as long. You know, so these simple things can really make a powerful difference.
Great. With that, thank you very much for coming.